Welcome to Fandom Schmandom, the fandom podcast that covers everything you love and more. I'm Sierra Obermark.
And I am Sam Williams. Today's episode, we will be cringingly crying about the simultaneous episodes of Clone Wars that correspond with Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This will be a little bit of a different mini viewing views because of the unique nature of these episodes. Without further ado, we will, as Roger Smith says, dive on in. So get up to 88 because it is time to travel back to our story recap. Ahsoka has been on a mission to provide two sisters with a chance to reconnect, but now the war is ending.
She's overheard that Maul is on Mandalore, and she and the Jedi are worried about Maul rising to power as soon as the war ends.
With Palpatine captured by Grievous and Dooku, Anakin and Obi-Wan cannot pursue Maul and the Mandy Planet storyline. So Anakin breaks the 501st in half, promotes Rex to Commander. Well done! Excellent job, Commander Rex. And he assigns Ahsoka as a special advisor, so Citizen, as Mace calls her, Ahsoka, can join in the fun.
Maul doesn't expect Ahsoka and underestimates her, leading to an incredible monologue and fight where Maul is trapped and imprisoned. After dropping many hints about Order 66, Maul senses it is close, and lo and behold, he and Ahsoka feel it.
The clones turn on Citizen Ahsoka, all except Rex. Ahsoka frees Maul as a distraction. She and Rex fight their way out, but oops! Maul takes the only ship, and Rex and Ahsoka survive a crashing spaceship on a snowy planet. After marking a grave for all of her 501st comrades, Ahsoka and Rex leave. Sometime later, Vader investigates, leaving us with a chilling scene of black-cloaked Vader almost mourning his past life in the white snow.
Keep your finger on the pause button and rewind that tape. It's time for the prestige category. What did we notice on this watch through? I cried through like half of this. I'm only partially joking. There were a number of times that I was genuinely tearing up. One specific at the beginning, one very meaningful one in the middle. And I wanted to yell at Rex at one point, because if you cry, then I'm going to cry, and I've had enough crying.
I am already crying enough in my life. I don't need this from you.
I watch TV to escape. But that is how well I think that this really pulls on those relationships that these characters have had throughout Clone Wars, throughout Star Wars, prequels in general. So I think it's very well done. On to plot points that I'm really kind of honing in here. Obi-Wan is no longer the only one on Maul's revenge list, which I feel like is very key to Maul's character in general. And he also, he being Maul, now wants Sidious to lose his apprentice in the same way that Maul lost Savage. So now Maul is after Anakin as well, because he knows that Anakin is set to be Sidious's apprentice.
Which is like, hey man, when'd you figure out that information?
It's a little off page.
It is a little off page. I also think it's funny that, like, in the condo that is Maul's revenge, it is funny that he built a little, like he annexed a little bit of somebody else's condo right next to him to fill with a Closet of Palpatine revenge line. It's like walking into a shrine of Obi-Wan, and off to the right is a little picture of Sidious. I think it's really fascinating. Yes, it absolutely does. I think it's fascinating that Maul is super aware that Anakin is key to all this. Like, he literally, in a very Dooku way, where in Attack of the Clones, Dooku's like, by the way, here's the whole plan. Why are you telling me to this like a Bond villain? Well, I was a Bond villain. says Christopher Lee. But that Maul here is also kind of like, yes, Anakin. And Ahsoka's like, what does Anakin have to do with any of this? And he's like, he has to do with everything. Mm-hmm. It's super cool, really fun, creates a chilling moment for Ahsoka that even though we know it, I feel like really works in a way that a lot of prequels don't, where it's like, I know who's living and who's dying and I know what's going to happen, but this is a moment where it's like, whoa, that's really cool. And I think that was a really super well done tone-wise and getting the message across to the audience.
Yeah, definitely. And I also find it interesting that, you know, Ahsoka obviously doesn't believe Maul when he says that Anakin is turned to the dark side and Anakin's the key to all this and et cetera, even though Maul is 100% correct. But her main concern with teaming up with Maul to take down Sidious is that she thinks that Maul will rise up to take his place. And on kind of first blush, I go, oh, well, that makes sense, right? Like, she doesn't want another villain coming in. He's clearly shown that he's very cunning, very intelligent, and he can work his way up in, you know, the ladder of the world. However, I feel like this isn't quite the valid concern that she thinks it is, because as much as Maul has all of that ability, and we've seen what he's able to do with Mandalore, he doesn't have nearly the amount of connections, plotting time, or ability to be as dangerous as Sidious. And so if they were to team up, take down Sidious, and then Maul was going to try to step into that place, I feel like it would be not easy necessarily, because we've seen that Maul is fairly formidable, but it would definitely be easier than taking down Sidious for Ahsoka and company to take down Maul.
One of the reasons is because they know who Maul is. Like, half of Sidious's success is due to the fact that he's sitting there as our pal Patine going, and Mace Windu's right next to him going, what's funny, bud?
Yeah.
Instead of being like, the dark side surrounds this Chancellor. We should do something about that. Like, yeah, I think it would be an easier takeout. Although I'll give you your moment.
I just makes this whole thing there just really kills me every time in this is specifically in Revenge. But I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi. I'm just sitting there going, oh, you do you? Now you sense
I forget
this?
what animated thing this is from, where somebody goes, oh, do you?
It makes me think of Dory with do ya?
Yeah, absolutely. We should make a decision. Do you want that part kept or do you want to save it for Revenge?
I can say it twice.
Okay.
It just cracks me up. Well, because the next part is the dark side surrounds the Chancellor. And I just go, you're just now sensing this? Not literally any other time you've been in the room with him, but just now. Just right now. But yes, that's a huge part of Palpatine / Sidious's success, is he's been able to disguise himself as...
Nobody recognizes his chin.
Right. The lower half of his very recognizable face is completely unrecognizable. I don't know. It's like a Clark Kent situation where you're like, how could people not notice? But then Dolly Parton just takes off her wig and goes out in public and no one ever recognizes her. So, like, you know.
Well, and like Daniel Radcliffe talks about how he flies around on New York subways all the time because he just wears a medical mask.
Yeah.
And nobody recognizes. So maybe we are just a bit stupider than we'd like to give ourselves credit for. Mm-hmm. That being said, with Ahsoka and Maul's part, I would rather have her go and try and take him down rather than not try and be wrong. So, like, if we're going with, like, best case of, like, win-win, win-lose, lose-lose, mm-hmm. I'm good with her going and doing this, especially because it's the only way that citizen Ahsoka is allowed to go and do anything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I will also say the chemistry between Maul and Ahsoka is wildly good.
So good.
Like,
amazing.
Their conversations, there is almost it's hard to describe because it is not a sexual tension, but it is a magnetism between the two of them that is that feels almost and could be misread as sexual in nature. Just there is an electricity between the two of them as characters that make me go, hey, can she be in the Maul show?
Right. Please?
This would be great. I would love to see them together because they balance each other out. They're able to interact as a tete-a-tete, and like Maul has this hubris, but he has this begrudging like respect for her. It's almost very Han and Rey in that way. One of the reasons why Han and Rey in Force Awakens work so well is that Han is like, "Hey kid, you're pretty good." And Maul does that, but also is seductive in his attempt to lure her to the dark side.
Right. I think it's super interesting because while we get the very kind of fun and amusing chemistry between Maul and Obi-Wan with their banter and their fighting back and forth, which is also kind of represented in, I feel like it's this middle ground, honestly. Now that I'm kind of talking it through, I feel like Maul and Ahsoka is this middle ground between Maul and Obi-Wan and Ventress.
Yeah,
because
totally.
Obi-Wan and Ventress definitely leans more towards that, like, flirtatious side, which I think is purposeful on both of their parts to try to throw each other off because both of them know that no. But like just the fact that it's this, Sith woman trying to tempt the nice clean Jedi, I think she thinks is hilarious. So, I think that it doesn't quite get that far in the flirtation, but they still have this energy between them that I think really just comes from the fact that they're both very evenly matched in terms of not necessarily, ability, but also their convictions and what they stand for. Not that they're opposite or the same, but just how strong they are in their convictions. Totally. Ahsoka is very strong in her belief in the Force and her conviction that the Jedi life as it is not right for her. However, the Force and all of that really connects with her and who she is. Whereas Maul is very much the like, I'm going to take what I can from the Force and use it for my own gain. Yeah. And that conviction of this is the way the Force should be used in both cases is that like polarizing effect that keeps them kind of coming together, but also bouncing off of each other. And it's very entertaining.
Yeah, totally.
So moving on from Maul and Ahsoka, we'll switch our attention over to Rex for a minute because Order 66 is occurring now. And Rex is able to resist his inhibitor chip just long enough to issue this final warning to Ahsoka to find Fives and to find out what happened to him, to explain what is Order 66 and what is happening right now. And I find this so amazing because it really shows the strength of the bond that specifically Ahsoka, Anakin, Obi-Wan have had with their clone captains and the clones under their command in general over the course of this war. And obviously we don't see as much from other Jedi, but specifically with the Anakin, Ahsoka, Rex bond, they've spent so much time together, have had so many moments of life or death, have been in this close proximity in all of these situations that really test your loyalty to people and your trust in them. And the fact that Rex is able to push through this programmed thing in his brain to be able to give her a last warning is a really wonderful, and honestly was one of those things that kind of had me tearing up because I was like, Rex, my boy, like, just hang on for one more second. Don't kill her.
I think this is a really good sequence all around, the start of Order 66 to the end of the episode. As you know, I'm not a big fan of the inhibitor chip, so this whole sort of storyline is a bit lost on me just due to the fact that I have hangups around the inhibitor chip even existing to begin with. But I will say I do like the bringing in verbiage from Rogue One as if the Jedi prayer, I am one with the Force is one with me, is an actual thing that is not just the Guardians of the Wills in Rogue One, and it is actually in the Jedi Order itself, and that this leads to a Force moment where Ahsoka's able to remove the chip from Rex. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I also think kind of on this topic of connection with the Force, it is crazy that Maul and Ahsoka feel Order 66 happening before it happens.
Mm-hmm.
They have these visions and they're able to sense that something is wrong. And then Order 66 occurs because their connection to the Force, as we see here, is only on the level of Anakin and Sidious at this point.
Yeah.
Even Yoda only feels this after it has occurred. He only feels Order 66 happening after the Jedi are dying. He doesn't get any kind of forewarning. He's been so clouded by the dark side in that we've seen throughout Revenge and a little bit in Attack of the Clones as well, where he's discussing how, you know, the dark side is clouding all of their visions and whatnot. But Maul and Ahsoka are able to push through that, or they're so connected to the Force in their own way that they can sense it before it happens, which is wild.
So in the way that movie is structured, I'm in agreement with you that it feels like to me that Yoda feels it after the Jedi start dying.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and you look at that scene, Yoda feels something.
Mm-hmm.
Then the commander of his clone in Green Kashyyyk Battalion then receives Order 66 from the Emperor, turns around, and that's when Yoda chops their heads off. Mm-hmm. So there is room for any nitpickers to say, actually, when Yoda clutches at his heart, he's feeling Mace die. Then Order 66 is given, and then he chops their heads off. But because they do the montage of all the Jedi dying, and then we get to Yoda's part, it does feel like it's afterwards. And that's the way I want to interpret it, but I do feel like because it's not that the Emperor gave Order 66 and then, you know, gave it again to other people. So unless there's some sort of satellite delay where he's like one of the furthest planets out, and so therefore he's feeling all the Jedi die, and then Order 66 just happens to transmit. But
it's mostly simultaneous.
I think so. And so I think that when Yoda feels it, it's probably him feeling Mace die. But I think what's really cool about all of this is that Yoda has a super great connection with Mace.
Right.
Which for Yoda has been a very quick relationship. So I think it's really cool that they have a very powerful relationship, because Mace is in his 50s and Yoda's 850. And also, so he's got a connection with Mace that's really strong. Ahsoka has a connection with Anakin, obviously, that's really strong. And Maul has a connection with Sidious, whether or not he likes it or not.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Very fascinating.
And also, I think that this scene, much like a lot of Clone Wars, which is so additive to much, gives a lot of weight into Obi-Wan realizing that Alderaan is gone in A New Hope.
Oh, interesting.
Because that moment, because we are learning for the first time about the Force, that moment is essentially Luke picks up that something's wrong with Obi-Wan because of Alec Guinness's great acting. And then Alec Guinness explains how it feels, but it's exposition. This is shown, not told. Yeah. And I just now I have a better sense of what that feels like. Right.
Oh, that's so interesting. I hadn't placed that together.
Your boy's a genius.
My last kind of note on something that I noticed here is something that I think I would never have thought about before. Well, I know I would never have thought about it before because it specifically deals with the ride at Disneyland, Rise of the Resistance. All of the clones line up to face Rex and Ahsoka in this. They're trying to escape. They're trying to figure out how to get to a ship, and all of the clones line up in the hangar bay to prevent them from getting to a ship. And it really struck me how similar it is to, I don't want to spoil too much, but on the Rise of Resistance ride, there is a moment where some doors open and there are a whole bunch of stormtroopers.
I think anybody's first time on that ride, it rocks your socks.
It really does. So that really just made that connection for me. I go, wow, it's like reliving that moment in this sequence.
Yeah. It's just the scale on the ride when it opens up and you're like, whoa. And that's all I'll say about that. I will say, in terms of what you're talking about in this show, I you know, when we were doing Stranger Things, we kept talking about, like, what's the best sequence? And I'm still fairly aligned with the fact that, especially now that we're done with season 5, it's season 2's march through the Demogorgons, the Demodogs, with Samwise Gamgee helping Hopper find an escape route. So good. I think that this is the best sequence of all of Clone Wars. Is the Order 66 starts Ahsoka's fight to survive all the way through. Like, in terms of, it is 3/4 of an episode. It is tight. It is emotional the entire way. There is a plot to free Maul, which seems very unlike Ahsoka, but is absolutely in character in this moment. Maul is even confused, and then she's like, wait, you're bait, which is a moment of huge triumph for everybody rooting for Ahsoka's character. There's getting Rex's chip out of his head, which is a huge victory. There's his resistance, like you were talking about, which again goes into this idea of, like, little kids loving these clones and being like, wait, how could they kill all these Jedi? Right. Well, it turns out one of them can resist. There's the, like, poor justice for the droids that I want. These droids that are being so helpful that get absolutely obliterated by clones in what was
so sad.
Like, it's because the droids are so full of joy for me. Anytime that they're obliterated, it actually makes me a little bit more emotional than anything else in the show.
It's like in a movie when the dog dies.
Right, exactly. And so it almost feels traumatizing in a way.
Yeah.
But then you've got this, like, Maul's running around causing chaos, kind of. The droids going around causing chaos. Ahsoka and Rex working really hard together. Ahsoka facing some really tough choices. Ahsoka holding onto a spaceship as Maul tries to take off, letting him go, and then surviving an entire crash on the planet with her dueling with 2 lightsabers, where we've seen her train for this specifically. Right. So it's just a mind-blowing sequence, and I think out of all 7 seasons, it's my favorite.
It's definitely fantastic, for sure. The Ahsoka holding on to Maul's ship is very reminiscent of Rey trying to pull back on Chewie's ship, the ship that Chewie is on in Rise of Skywalker. And I will say it here, folks, Ahsoka did it better.
So, Sierra, not to do a whole lore galore for a second, but I'm gonna pull the curtain back for a moment. There is not just 2 people that have done this. Holding on to a spaceship is an EU thing that happens. But even if you're not like, okay, let's just count the books. Sam Witwer's original Star Wars character, Starkiller from the Force Unleashed games, does this in a majorly better way than what we see. Additionally, once you watch the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, I will not say anything more, but I think actually that show does it the best. Oh man, I'm so excited for you to watch it.
I'm very excited to watch it. For anybody who's listening and is like, why hasn't Sierra watched it? Sierra's trying to watch everything in chronological order as we go through Star Wars. Yeah. And I have specifically saved certain shows and things
for this
to be able to watch in context. So
yeah,
that's why.
Excellent.
Otherwise, I would have watched a lot of these things a long time ago.
Well, I know you just lost a hand losing an argument to me about stuff that you don't know about, but listen up. It's the I am your father category for most iconic character moment and what is the most important character moment of this entire arc. So, iconic character moment. Sierra, what do you got?
Find him. Fives. Rex's moment.
I do like it. I will say, I think the more iconic one, when people think about all of the Revenge of the Sith corresponding episodes, is the line from Sam Witwer as he appears out of the tunnels of Mandalore in darkness, going, I was hoping for Kenobi. What are you doing here? Which I do think is more iconic. Not more important and not better, but more iconic.
I can give you that. The delivery is really where it's
precisely. It's the delivery. For important, Ahsoka has this incredibly pivotal character moment where she's been ride or die for her squad and for Anakin, and not for the Jedi and not for Obi-Wan and not for everybody else, but ride or die for her clones and Anakin. And now she has to choose to fight the 501st Legion. And it takes a bit of Rex telling her, they don't care about you. They're going to take you down and this ship because they want to kill you for her to do it. But she does choose to fight and to kill them, which I think is the thing that makes her character what it becomes moving forward in Rebels and the Ahsoka show.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I had the same thing for important. It really is just the most pivotal character moment in these episodes.
Yeah,
hands down.
Absolutely.
And speaking of down, everybody sit down. It's time for our I Am Iron Man most iconic and most important scene category. Would you like to start with your honorable mention, or?
Yeah, the honorable mention that I have is Maul and Ahsoka's throne room duel on Mandalore, which is...
It is so cool.
I think probably very iconic.
Yes.
I don't think it's as important as what we've got in first place, though.
I would agree. What we have in first place is the very, very end of Clone Wars, the very, very end of these episodes we're talking about, which is Darth Vader standing in front of a line of clone graves and finding Ahsoka's lightsaber in the snow.
Yeah.
He now thinks / knows that all of the 501st is dead, that Ahsoka is dead, that Rex is dead, and that he basically caused this to happen / allowed it to happen. And this is huge, huge for him, especially since the lightsaber that he's holding is the customized blue that he has given her specifically on her return.
Yeah. So this is just broadening out for a second, bigger picture, zooming out away from just the narrative. TV series endings are hard.
Yes.
You get really good classic ones like The Soprano, which was super controversial and now is extremely beloved. You get Parks and Rec's endings, which was beloved immediately and still beloved now. It is hard to nail. Sitcoms, I think, actually are a little easier because you just kind of bring up nostalgia and say goodbye to everybody. But it's still really hard to do TV endings. And
yes,
this has got to be one of the best ones, I think.
It's very well done.
It's, even if you don't like the last whole season 7, which a lot of people don't because of Ahsoka's like sister storyline, which goes on for like 5 episodes and takes a lot of time away from literally anybody else. It's
quite lackluster, and it does very much seem like the only reason is to get to this. to get her to find out that the audience.
I feel like they felt like they owed the audience what was going on with Ahsoka. I just don't know that was a story worth telling.
Yeah.
That being said, in terms of being responsible with your women characters, that is a whole arc about women, supporting women, which is cool, especially with how they nerf Padme, but still a little lackluster, as you say, with only one real thing, which is, Maul.
Right.
which then launches this sequence. So from a big perspective, this is a chilling, awesome scene. And from a character perspective for Anakin, some of the best stuff that has come out in Disney canon, in my opinion, is the contextualization around Anakin still being inside Vader. Because this is not Vader.
No.
Who's standing in the snow. I mean, it literally is. It's Darth Vader in his black costume and all that sort of stuff with his helmet. But it's Anakin mourning his past life. And you think about, he's lost his brother, Obi-Wan, who's betrayed him and cut him up. And he now has a sort of Maul-like revenge sense against him. He lost his wife. And whether that was done by Palpatine or if that was just she dying of a broken heart, that's up for debate. But he doesn't know anything other than he's lost his his baby, because he doesn't know about twins. And he's lost his wife, and he's lost his brother, and he's done horrible things to try and save his wife, which hasn't worked out. And now he's stuck in this life, and there's no respite. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be interesting because there is a point where Ahsoka and Darth Vader are going to meet, but there's a lot of change that will have happened between those two events. Mm-hmm. So be on the lookout for that, listeners, when we cover Rebels. Crack open an encyclopedia. It's time for our, as Elijah Wood once said, no, how could we have known, category, where we discuss the most important information disseminated to the fandom in this television show. It's really just two pieces of information. One is Vader thinks that Ahsoka and Rex are dead. That's important enough. Mm-hmm. You know, it covers why Ahsoka's still around, why Rex is still around. But the main thing, I think, is that Maul survives because Ahsoka lets him go and then he steals a ship.
Yep.
That's why we're getting a Maul show.
Heck yeah. Let's go. Time to keep your horses safe, because it's my favorite category. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. Category of best lines. We have just a couple here. There was only a couple episodes. A lot of it was fighting, guys. So Here we go.
My favorite line was, "Je blast blast."
This first one, I think it might be my favorite one of Clone Wars because of the impact that it has, and it made me cry. It did. I said this at the beginning. I said these episodes made me cry, and this was the very beginning of it, and this is where it started. They know what you went through for them. Day after day, battle after battle. Loyalty means everything to the clones.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't put a chill in your spine, knowing what's to come, yikes.
Yeah. I survived, and I can thrive in the chaos that is to come. That's a Maul quote. It's a great line.
So good. This just is, and then this last one is just indicative of what we were talking about between Maul and Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. You have.
Do you want me to do the Maul part and you can do the Ahsoka part?
Yes, please.
Excellent. You have Kenobi's arrogance.
You'll find I have many qualities for you to dislike.
I really like that exchange. Man, so their connection is just so electric. And I could have done with a whole series arc of her and him.
Yes.
That would have been incredible.
It would have been so good.
And I've already said my favorite line, which is, I was expecting Kenobi. What are you doing here? It's a great line.
So good.
But it's time for us to board the TARDIS and explore what ifs with our Get Out category. So, what are the what ifs provided by this TV show?
What if Ahsoka and Maul joined forces? What if she said yes? Obviously, Maul is mostly playing Ahsoka here, or at least just trying to get her on board enough to accomplish what he wants. But in a world where Ahsoka believes him about Anakin, which she kind of should, because he is right. But I get it. Her unwavering faith, I understand. Maul is disenfranchised by the Sith. Ahsoka is disenfranchised by the Jedi. They could make a fascinating team to find the middle ground.
Yeah.
If they're able to each budge from their convictions, which they never will.
Which I actually don't think is like literally physically possible because of the whole Mortis storyline in season 3 of Clone Wars, where Ahsoka is killed, becomes the dark side puppet, but then literally saved by the light side. Yeah. So I don't think that physically Ahsoka could ever sort of shirk her morals like that. No. But that being said, first of all, Ahsoka would look really, really pretty sweet in some tatted Maul-inspired, like, red and black outfits. That would be super cool. Crimson Dawn, and like, being run by Kira, Ahsoka, and Maul would be amazing. I also think that they would become so powerful that the Emperor and Vader would have to kill them a lot earlier, and that we wouldn't get any interesting storylines. Because if Sidious was already like, you have become a rival with a dunce like Savage, who's powerful but a dunce, imagine Ahsoka being agreeing with Maul. Like, Sidious would be like, wait a second. You guys might actually rule us, so we gotta kill you now. Yep. My what if is, what if Anakin and Ahsoka did actually get to speak to each other? Because you remember there's this moment where Ahsoka's like, I would like to speak with Master Skywalker, and Obi-Wan is like, no, actually Anakin's gone off to do such and such. Mm-hmm. And I really wonder what would happen if Ahsoka had been able to talk to Anakin right there. I don't know why. There's no actual evidence for me to feel this way, but it feels like that was a missed moment of light side or dark side for Anakin.
I do feel that way as well. I think that there is justification, because throughout Clone Wars, we do see that Ahsoka really speaks to a little bit more of the innocence of Anakin and him seeing what it was like as a Padawan himself, and to be interested in the Force and being a Jedi for the first time. And I think that she also really touches on that where Obi-Wan is his brother, Ahsoka is his little sister, and he feels protective of her, but also that he can learn from her. Yeah. And I feel that that connection would really have spoken to him in that moment. And depending on exactly when that conversation takes place, I would argue pre or post youngling situation. Yeah. Would really dictate what would happen, because if Ahsoka can get to Anakin before that occurs,
that's when this conversation would have occurred.
Yeah, which I think that could make a real case for him understanding what he's walking into and the lure of the dark side, and how he needs to be a little bit more on his guard. And then because I believe that there's also a moment where she has another time that she could try to speak to him or leave a message for him, essentially, and just says, I'll talk to him when I see him. Yeah. And that would have been post younglings, but I think that it could have made Anakin hesitate a little bit, and maybe Padme would have lived, or maybe, depending on how you kind of read that whole situation, or perhaps he would not have gone full Vader. Something in that could be twisted, but I also think that if they do have a actual conversation, it's not just Ahsoka leaving him a message, that opens up Ahsoka to a lot more choices. Yeah. And she may join Maul in the attempt to save Anakin. Yeah. From Sidious, potentially.
Because Younglings is after Order 66, which is like Ahsoka is not joining Maul at that point because the clones are attacking her, etc., etc., etc.
Except for that she does interact with him to let him go as bait, and as that bait. Situation could be different.
But there's no way that she's having a conversation with Anakin post Order 66. That's the problem.
I understand. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, I just have a tough time thinking, by the time that Anakin has killed Younglings, I think he's in. I don't think there's any changing him on that. Mind hesitancies, I think he's full of those for the next 20 plus years. And that's one of the reasons why the Emperor never truly trusts him. Mm-hmm. And it continues to manipulate and control him. But it does feel like a missed opportunity. It feels like a moment where, I don't know, just, it's a classic one of those setups where, hey, don't, no. And you've seen the movie 1,000 times and you know that the character's going to make the wrong decision and they do it anyways. And you're like, ugh. Mm-hmm. And that's what that moment is to me. And it's very effective that way.
Yeah, I agree. Rip open that candy wrapper and show us your golden ticket. It's time for the Veruca Salt Award for piece of memorabilia that we really, really need. We kind of have the same thing. Kind of. A 501st helmet, a 212th helmet, and I do have those, so that shows you how much I really, really needed them.
So my pick is coming from the fact that I think that a lot of Ahsoka merch out there stinks in general for adults. I think that there's a lot of great Ahsoka merch for kids, obviously. Yes. And in general, I'm not a big, trooper helmet guy. That changes when it comes to Mandalorian gear, let me tell you. And I still don't own any Mandalorian gear, but in general, I'm like, yeah, the helmets are cool, etc., etc. But man, would I pay money for the 501sts in Ahsoka's paint that they do for this last art, which I think is just, it just warms my heart.
It's so...
Yeah, exactly.
It's so
precisely.
wonderful.
That sigh is exactly what it feels like in a sound.
And I think that it is also signified by that quote that I said.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why they do this for her and paint their helmets for her is because they're so loyal and because they truly care for her and trust her and
totally
missed her when she was gone. Yes, big sigh. Heavy sigh.
Big sigh indeed. So in a segment that is not planned and not scripted, we've now come to the end of the Clone Wars. And so I just have 2 questions for you, really. Maybe 3. Let's go with 3. One is, over all the Clone Wars, Sierra, what is your favorite arc?
Wow. Wow, what a question. Holy moly.
To me, it's the Mortis planet arc. Because of the ramifications of what the Force is. The father, the son, and the daughter being the Force, and then the light side and the dark side, and what Anakin is able to do, and what happens to Ahsoka, and what happens to Obi-Wan. It's not like my favorite story, if that makes any sense. Like, I find all the Mandalore stuff much more interesting. I find the clones fighting against that one awful Jedi who's like, I'm gonna rule the... whatever his name is Krell.
Krell, yeah.
Krell, yeah. That is a more interesting story. But in terms of the ramifications of Force lore, which we will continue to explore in Ahsoka show, I just feel like that is my favorite at the end of the day.
Interesting. So I have a hard time narrowing down, and I think it's because there are arcs that I enjoy, like the young Padawans going and getting their kyber crystals and becoming Jedi for real and all of that. I love that arc. I think it's a
lightsaber to your head, though, Sierra. You gotta pick one.
Oh my gosh!
What's the one that comes up sort of instinctually?
I think it's I honestly, as much as I hate it, I love it. It's the clones with Master Krell.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were going to say, to be fair. When you talk about that, that's the one that you get the most passionate about, certainly.
Because I hate it so much and I love it so much. Because I love the clones so much and I have very passionate feelings about these characters. And Krell is just so horrible that I agonize over it.
Yeah.
But that is the one that when I think about Clone Wars, that is the first thing I think of.
Yeah. Okay, so second question. Of all the pieces of information disseminated, now I'm not talking about just solo pieces of information. So like you could say Anakin's character being completely explored could be an answer. Of all the information disseminated over the course of Clone Wars, one piece of information, what's the one that you come away with that you feel like is the most interesting to you?
I mean, it is that. It's Anakin's character arc. It's understanding why they will grant him the rank of master. It is understanding why the council even tolerates him. It's the reason why he's in the position that he's in, why they trust him with certain missions, why they think that he'll actually spy on Palpatine. It explains everything about who he is, and you understand, I mean, even why Padme cares for him. You know, I feel like there's so much missing. I feel like there's so much missing if you just go from
films.
Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith. And this really, you know, you were my brother. Even that one line is so dictated by the events of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So that really is it.
For me, it's really a toss-up between these two, but I'll say this one is most interesting to me because you've already gone with Anakin. It's the exploration of what's wrong with the Jedi. Culminating in Ahsoka leaving the Order and that incredible monologue by Barriss, who's already turned her lightsaber red with darkseid energy, still being dead on correct about the fact that this is not the way that the Jedi are supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And it really shows me the corruption from within that Anakin is annoyed and frustrated with. Right. And that Obi-Wan is turning a bit of a blind eye to by the time we get to Revenge of the Sith. So I think the exploration of what's wrong with the Jedi Order is, to me, the most interesting thing. And my third question, when we first started coming up with this podcast idea, and we thought that we were going to do Star Wars first, and that was before we decided to do Stranger Things, we talked a lot about, man, it'll be really interesting to see what preconceived opinions that we have about Star Wars or about characters might change. So for you, what has changed?
I think in general, most of my opinions have remained the same. I still don't fully care for Ahsoka in general. However, I do respect her place in the canon a little bit more, and especially on this watch with these final episodes that we've been talking about, I think that really has a much more impactful going forward for me that I didn't really feel before. So I think that's one thing that has shifted a little bit in terms of kind of who I like or dislike or the storylines that I have found impactful. I feel like a lot of that has remained the same. I will say, though, that I do think I have a little bit more of an attention to detail when it comes to issues with the Jedi Order. Yeah. Because beforehand, I think it was more just due to the fact that I wasn't honing in on it or focused on it at all. And so I was able to let a lot of those things slide. But then rewatching from kind of that framework and that lens on, it did open my eyes a lot more to the problems. And I think that really comes to a head when I think about Yoda and Mace. And I don't like them as much as I used to. I think that's the biggest thing for me. That's the biggest change in my views on characters specifically, but situations as well, is that I feel like most people who are maybe around our age, when you saw Yoda in the prequels, it was, he's this funny green guy, and oh my gosh, look at him flipping around and fighting and all that, and you got excited about it. And I know that he's always been one of my brother's favorite characters, and I think Mace is also one of my brother's favorite characters. And so really watching kind of from this lens of what is going on with the Jedi Order and what's wrong with it, I find myself angry at them because they're really allowing all of this to happen, and they're turning this blind eye. And I think that has really colored my opinion of both of those characters, which is a little sad. It is what it is, but I do find myself, from maybe a nostalgia standpoint, feeling a little upset about it because I did truly, really enjoy both of these characters. And now when I watch them, I just want to yell at them.
Yeah. I think for me, certainly my opinions on Yoda have changed a lot. And in the way that my opinions about Albus Dumbledore changed, the further I got into adulthood and the more I was like, wait a second. Hold on a minute. What are we doing here, Dumble? Come on. There wasn't a better plan. You weren't a bit smarter than you are. I really respect Ahsoka more than ever. Her arc in seasons 4, 5, and then in 7, in the second half with Mandalore and stuff, made me really enjoy her character a lot more. Makes me respect her more in Rebels. Makes me respect her more in the Ahsoka show. I think without this show, Revenge of the Sith isn't as good. And I talked about this in our Revenge of the Sith pod, so I don't need to belabor it. But essentially, the movie works a lot better because of this show, which is frustrating to me. Because as I've mentioned in all sorts of different podcasts that I've been on, I want the story to be able to be at its peak and best within the main medium it's in. So if you're doing the movies, let's have the movies be as good as possible and have everything else be additive in not such an important way as this fleshing out of Anakin's character does.
Right.
Now, I'm still glad that we got it. I think the thing that surprises me most is that I feel very similar about this show from a big picture perspective than I did the first time. And what I mean by that is it's like, it is a show that struggles. The first 3 seasons are not nearly as good as the last 4 seasons. It is a show that is not as deep as a lot of people want to make it. They don't dive into some of these politics and problems with the world as deeply as I think a lot of fans are like, yeah, it does this and this and this. Well, no, it touches upon it. And what you're able to do subtextually, what you're able to read in subtextually can be really interesting. But I think about juxtaposing this show with Avatar: The Last Airbender, Dave Filoni's other big material that I've worked with. They go hard in about capitalism and imperialism. There's that huge monologue from Zuko about like, we were taught in the Fire Nation that this was the best nation in the world, parroting what a lot of elementary and middle schools were teaching at the time in the United States. Like some real bravery there in tackling that. And to me, this show goes only so far in doing that. And I think that was the biggest surprising to me. Now, there's a lot more information to be gleaned in the universe and all that stuff, but I came out feeling still, yeah, this show is good, but it's not S tier to me. And that was, it's a hard place to be after spending this much time with it because I really want it to be an S tier, and it's just not.
Today's public service announcement. When faced with a red-horned devil and an offer to take down a Sith Lord and rule the underworld together, do it. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Thank you, dear listeners, for listening to this episode of Fandom Schmandom. If you'd like to discuss this episode or any other episode we've done, please hit us up on our social media channels. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Fandom Schmandom Pod, or you can head on over to patreon.com/CW/Fandom Schmandom.
We have a new bit on there about Sierra's trip to Epic Universe and us talking about that park. So go ahead and check that out. Please don't forget to rate and review us if you liked the episode. It really helps the algorithm place us in front of other like-minded schmishners out there. And with that, we're out, y'all.
Don't forget to tip your loyal clone troopers.
And fare thee well.
Fandom Schmandom was created by Sam Williams and Sierra Obermark. The show is produced by Aurelia Lieb. The editor is Brittany Fisher. The music is by Jeremiah Alves.
Fun fact, my mic picks up my claps now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, not sure why.
It said, F*** Montana.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's do this before I overheat and have a hot flash on live podcasting. Okay. It's fine. That's what happens.
I'm just imagining what...
It was like 87 today. It's supposed to be like 34 in like 2 days.
It's hot here.
It's 87 today. So.
In California too. Yeah. I just don't imagine like what a hot flash would be like on a podcast.
It's just me heavy breathing.
It's hot. I'm hot.
Well, that's the thing is like the humidity kicked in like yesterday.
Yeah.
And I've got asthma. So like,
right.
And I've got asthma and I'm pregnant. And so, I can't breathe anyway. So
amazing.
I'm just like, and now it's hot on top of it. So I'm just like,
all right. Well, here goes a good recording.
This morning's a real thing. It's great. Let's go.
Leaving us with a chilling scene of black-cloaked Vader. Nope. Black-cloaked Vader.
Vader.
it's revealed in Rebels that Rex actually removes his inhibitor chip before Order 6 blah, blah, blah. It's revealed in Rebels that Rex actually removes his inhibitor chip before oh my god. I got this. It's revealed in Rebels that Rex actually removes his inhibitor chip before Order 66. Good god, one more time. Here we go.
The kind of last thing that struck me in these couple of episodes. Sorry, I'm going to redo that.
Please do. That sounded rude. Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
Please do.
You better. I think it really is just the most pivotable.
Pivotable.
It really.
It's pivotable.
Pivotable.
You can pivot on it.
Pivot.
Ahsoka could look. I can't say sick as can I?
Dope. Even, what is the word I'm looking for?
Fucks with him. Sorry, editors.